Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is very important to me. The idea was inspired by my little cousin and actually thought of by my mom because of a conversation that we had. About a week ago, I was doing my little cousin's hair, and I literally have been doing her hair since she was a baby, and now less often because now we live in two different states. But when I was doing her hair, she mentioned that I was saving her life because I was doing her hair, because she's at the point now where she's like a preteen, almost teenager, and is trying to figure out what to do with her hair. Her hair is very natural. She's about a 4B, not quite 4C, but she has very, very tight, coily hair and like perfect little like curls. Her hair is super thick. She is growing more and more frustrated with her hair as she's getting older. And it damn near broke my heart when she said she was ready to cut her hair off because she just didn't know what to do with it anymore. She gets so frustrated trying to detangle it because of how thick her hair is. Like, she literally wanted to just wear it straight because she gets so frustrated with it in its natural state. My mom came up with the idea for me to do a video about detangling your hair and asking the question, are you detangling your hair correctly? That's where this video came to be. It's wash day for me. I'm coming to y'all pre-wash day so that I can walk y'all through the process of how I've learned to detangle my hair and how I detangle others' hair when I'm doing their hair as well. Because I've developed a system that works for me, and I mean, honestly, works for my clients, that I've been doing for years, but never in my mind did I think how much is somebody struggling at home when they're trying to detangle their hair and just get through a wash day. I am here to take you through that process. So I'm going to come to you with my hair pre-detangled. I'm going to go ahead and shampoo it, and then I'm going to come back with my deep conditioner because I want to deep condition today, and I'm going to walk you through the process of how I apply and detangle my hair completely with my deep conditioner, and how I get from pre-wash day, getting ready to do everything, to completely detangled hair that I have no worries about when I go into styling. Let me go ahead and shampoo my hair, and I will be right back. All right, so now I'm all shampooed, and I'll link everything that I used below. I use the Olaplex shampoo, and I'm going in with the Olaplex deep conditioner because I wanted to see what the hype was about. And I'm using Olaplex too because my hair's been shedding a lot lately. I'm starting to think more and more, because I had a couple of people say it to me, and now I'm starting to think that it's a thing because I've actually done some research and actually read a couple articles that have been posted by other hairstylists and like platforms in that format that are saying that that thing that's still keeping us down is really actually causing people's hair to shed. And because I have that thing that's holding everybody back, my hair started to shed a lot after that. So I just bought the Olaplex stuff from work to see if that would help stop the shedding. It's not breakage at all. It's hair strands from root to end shedding that way, and not breakage where it's like small pieces or anything like that. So that's why I'm using Olaplex. And I wanted to see, because like I know using Olaplex with color and that system that stylists use, like it's the business, like it's great. I just wanted to see if everything in their lineup now holds up to the hype. So I got the moisture mask. It's the number 8 Bond Intense Moisture Mask. The instructions on this says, apply to clean damp hair mid-lengths to ends, use sparingly on the roots, work through with fingers, which is another good reason that I got this one. Leave on for 10 minutes, rinse fully, and style as usual. Use best for weekly results. Start with 2 pumps for shoulder length hair, use more for thicker hair, less for fine or short hair. I don't know that I'm gonna ever use 2 pumps of anything on my head. So first, I wanna start with all the tools that I'm using to detangle my hair. Got my water bottle, I have clips, and I have wide tooth combs. I have the combs mainly to put my hair into sections. This first time around, I might actually turn this into a series just so that people can really get the help that they're looking for as far as really being able to maintain your hair. This first go around, I'm focusing on teaching you, if you don't know, or showing you what I do as far as finger detangling. I am a huge advocate for finger detangling your hair before you start using any type of brush, comb, any type of detangling tool, because I am a firm believer in that you need to feel what your hair is doing when it's detangling. So you know when you put a comb through it or you put a brush through it, you need to be as gentle as possible because you will just rip hair out. What I'm gonna start with is number one, section your hair. People most commonly part in 4 sections. That's what I always go with. It's pretty easy to do and pretty easy to maintain. Like, I don't think you need too much more than 4 sections if you have real thick hair. I've done 6 sections on people with really thick hair, so that I understand, but not more than, I would say, 6, maybe 8 if your hair is just that thick and long. I've had to do that before too, but 4 should get the job done. So I'm gonna go ahead and part in 4 sections. And even with parting, I'm parting my hair and using my fingers to pull the hair apart. I'm not parting through and dragging the comb through. I'm using the comb to start the part and then pull the hair apart with my fingers so that I can feel my hair separate and I'm not just pulling my hair out. So I'm gonna go in and split this section into 2 sections, and that's where we get our 4 sections from. You can see I'm being as gentle as possible so I don't tear my hair because I'm trying to part it. Going down this side, we got section 1, and then I'm gonna just put it up in a clip, and then section 2 in a clip, and then same thing on this side. You can kind of see it a little better as I do it on this side. I'm making sure that I'm not breaking any hair as I'm pulling it apart. And I think because I do this so often, my hair, it kind of has parts that it naturally sections into, so it's a little easier. But now we got section 3, and we're gonna clip it up, and then section 4. Now, because I've shampooed my hair, it's still damp, but I feel like I want it a little damper, especially for the purpose of this video. I want it a little more wet so we can talk about actually going through detangling hair. I'm going to take my water bottle and start in this section. So this section you separate into smaller sections. Work through your 4 sections and take smaller sections within that section. So you don't want to break your hair down into a bunch of sections, but you want to work through smaller sections in your section, because then when you get it all the way done, you marry everything together, put it away so you can just keep working on the next part. First, I'll spray just to get it a little more wet, because number 2, do not detangle dry hair. It literally makes me cringe when people do it. When I see it, I want to scream. Every stylist probably can agree. It is something that literally makes my skin crawl. Please, for the love of God, do not try to detangle dry hair. This stuff really don't have a smell. It's like it has a smell, but not really. It looks like this has a lot of slip to it. Use something that is going to give you a good amount of slip so it makes the process as easy as possible. Yeah, this deep conditioner has good slip. You can kind of see my fingers glide right through. The perimeter of my hair is always the easiest for me to detangle. As I've gotten older and really gotten into what my hair actually does, I realized that my hair isn't what me or my mom used to think it was when I was little. Maybe it changed as I got older. We always say that that's a thing. I think it was definitely a thing for my hair, but the outsides, the perimeter of my hair detangles way easier than the middle of my hair. And so what I'm going to always suggest is using your fingers and working from the ends of your hair up to the roots. There's just sections of my hair where I know I don't have to work that hard to detangle, but you definitely want to start at the bottom and always work your way up so you can feel every tangle, every piece of shed hair that needs to come out, so you work your way up to the top. And once your hands glide through your hair, then you know you can move on to the next section. That is your biggest thing, is making sure that you can feel when your hair is smooth, because then you know you've gotten every little knot, every little tangle out. And because you're using your hands, you can feel when there's a knot or a tangle that you need to work through before you move up your hair. My biggest thing with you using your hands first is so that you can actually feel what's going on. Because if you use a comb or a brush, even if it's a wide tooth comb, even if it's a Denman brush, you can't necessarily feel when you're doing too much pulling to your hair, and that's where breakage starts to happen. That's why I'm always going to suggest to use your hands first. Please use your hands first to detangle. Another thing I'm going to always tell people is take your time. Please take your time. I know it takes a long time for some people. I know that it's a process for some people, but it pays in the end to just take your time. You do not want to rush through this process and cause unnecessary breakage, cause unnecessary damage that didn't have to be there because you tried to rush through the process. It's just not worth it. So I'm gonna spray again because now my hair's starting to dry a little more as I'm working through the section. Pull the water down my section so I know it's damp throughout. I think I'm doing 2 pumps per section that I do because 2 pumps for my whole head is not okay. Apply the product all over that section. One of the things I do as well is like when I'm detangling, I use my fingers, and I use like all of my fingers. So I'm using my thumb to push through the sections, and then I'm using the rest of my fingers, especially using the pads of my fingers to feel where I have shed hair and tangles and stuff like that I feel like needs to come out. I got this little piece smooth. I'm moving on to the next one. So I start at the bottom again, start moving up, and then I'm working my fingers through these tangles without just yanking them out. So I'm getting through shed hair, getting through little knots and stuff like that, so that I'm getting it out without ripping my hair that is still attached to my hair, still growing out. And what my hair kind of does is once it gets smooth enough, it'll start to clump together and curl. Then I know I can move on to the next section. And what I'm doing here is I'm using my thumb to press against my pointer and my middle finger to massage the product into my hair so it makes it a little smoother to detangle. Once I start to move towards the top, towards my roots again, I got another smooth piece. I can move on to the next one. Now doing the back is a little more difficult, but I do the same thing all throughout until I'm done. And like I said, once you get the hang of this and you can feel what your hands is doing as far as detangling your hair, then I would say you're able to detangle more consciously with a brush and a comb, because now you know to be more sensitive, take a little more time with your sections so that you're not just ripping hair out. So this, I just added more water to add more slit to this piece that I just detangled. And then once I feel like I'm done with everything, I'm marrying it all together. And then once it feels smooth enough, I can part another section out for myself and move up. The middle of my hair, I know, is always my driest part. So that's the part that I really take time on. Spray it again. Make sure it's saturated for my entire little section. Get the conditioner, massage it so it's product distributed over the entire section. Start at the bottom, and see, I can feel shed hair that needs to come out because like I said, my hair has been shedding a lot lately. So getting the shed hair out is very important so you can get the hair that needs to come out without doing damage to your hair that's still attached to your head. And once I get it out, I feel the section is smooth, I can move on to the next one. But if I feel a section that I feel like I need to work through, I'll slowly work through that little knot so that I don't do any damage. Once I get through that knot, it's smooth, I'm gonna work the back. And I would say pull your hair in any direction that you need to pull it so that it makes it easier for you. See, I got a little more shed hair here that I know I need to get through. And so I'm kind of rubbing that piece so that I don't damage any of the hair that's still in my head, but I need to get out the shed hair that needs to come out. And I know it takes a lot of patience to get to this point where you can do something like that, but it's worth it in the end. If you want to retain your length, see, that's shed hair that needed to come out. Oh, okay, just there. And so if you want to do your best to retain length, you gonna have to take the time to detangle properly so that you can get all the tangles out and keep the hair that's in your head growing healthy there. So now that whole piece is done. Kind of marry them all, make sure they feel the same. And I've said it in a couple of videos, when I do hair, I really go based off of feeling. Like, I can feel what I'm doing in each section, and that's kind of what helps me indicate when I can move on to the next section of hair. Even with this, I use a spray bottle to saturate my hair. Once I feel like all the strands are coated, I can move on and apply the deep conditioner. Once I feel like I've applied all of the product in my hands to all the strands of my hair, I can move on to the next step, which is detangling my hair. So once I get it through my roots to my ends, I start at my ends and move up to my roots to start to detangle. It's all about how it feels. As long as you know what you're feeling for, you should have no problem getting through this process and not damaging your hair. See, I got more shed hair here, and I'm working to just take it out. Because once you hear, little snapping sounds and stuff like that, that's you breaking your hair that is more than likely still attached to your head, and that is not what you want. Take your time, take your time, take your time. Over the past, more recent years, it's become really popular, but it's been a practice that's been in the hair industry, and specifically the natural hair industry, for a while now, is using a steamer. I've done it a couple times to my hair. I don't necessarily feel like I always need it, but it's a practice that, especially during the winter time, I've started to really incorporate into doing to some of the clients that I have, because the hair is drier. It helps it to absorb more moisture, and it will essentially help it to detangle a little better. And that's exactly what I did to my little cousin's hair, and she just could not understand how I was going through it so easy. I mean, essentially, I have these things that I've been doing for years and years and years that I know how to do, what to do, and when to do. It's just a matter of person to person, how you work their hair, how you work through this section, how you work through this process. But again, in my mind, I just kind of know how to do it. So that's why I'm showing you guys how I do it and what tips you possibly can take from doing it. So a couple more things too. When you're detangling, sometimes you are able to kind of move your fingers through the section after you just simply spray it with water, just to take out some of the shed hair that's going to eventually come out. So if you saturate your hair enough, you might make the process a little easier by simply running your fingers through just like this and being able to kind of pull out the shed hair that's gonna come out once you get into more detailed detangling without having to even put product on hair that's going to just shed out. Even taking a couple seconds to run your fingers through this way to get that hair out helps tremendously, so that you kind of already started the process without even using product. Now, if it feels like it's too dry and you can't move your hands through it, don't do it. That's just another tip that I've learned. Once my hair gets to a certain point that I can move my fingers through in that manner. But if you are able to do it, you're not wasting product on shed hair, as much shed hair, because you'll still probably get some that needs to come out, but you're not using product on hair that needs to come out, and it's less time that you have to take in that section detangling as well. And it's like, as I'm moving through, the less I feel pulling, because once I feel that I'm pulling a section, that's when I move my hands to get the tangles out. You don't want to pull and just rip through. You want to pull, and if you feel something kind of pull you back, that's where you stop, move your hands. And I'm taking my other hand and going through, and I work through the section. So once I feel it's smooth, then I can move. So here, raking through a little bit. Sometimes when you get up to the section, you can kind of just pull without putting your fingers through, so you don't run the risk of really pulling any hair out that doesn't need to come out. Once you get to the point where it starts to feel like you've detangled a good amount, that's when you can start putting your fingers through and see. Once I feel like I've gotten to the point where I've taken out as much as I can take out, then I go ahead and apply the product and finish the job. You see, I feel my hands kind of bounce. That's where I know I have a tangle I need to work through. It seems like I'm kind of just going through, but I'm moving my hands. As soon as I feel it pull, I'll move my hands right away. And it's something that I've just learned to do. And it's something that I've done so much that it's second nature to me. One, because I'm doing it on my own head of hair, but I've done it on so many other heads of hair as well. You just have to get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, it becomes way easier. Another tip too, if you feel like the section is a little drier than you want it to be, and you apply product, if you use water, like from your spray bottle, it'll just kind of help to reactivate the product that's in there. So you can spray that same section and it'll help to reactivate the product that you've applied, so you don't have to put any more product in. So what I'll do sometimes is go back to my first section, and this is the part where now I'll say, if you want to run a wide tooth comb through it or a brush through it, just to make sure everything is detangled and out, then you should be able to do it without doing damage. But what I'm doing now is using the water to reactivate the product, because I started on a section earlier that's probably a little drier, but I'll reactivate it, and then I can just use my comb, start at the bottom, making sure every strand is coated and every strand is detangled. Put it back up and do it to the next one. And then I can sit for a little bit, let this deep conditioner do what it say it's gonna do. But then move on to the next step, which is styling. And at this point, you should be able to just comb through. Shouldn't be no more struggling or anything like that. I'm gonna let it sit for a little longer, then I'm gonna come back to y'all and wrap this thing up. All right. Now I'm all shampooed and deep conditioned, detangled, so that I can move on to styling without a problem. Real quick, just to show you, I can comb through my hair pretty much without too much of a hassle. Of course, because it's curls, it is not gonna be perfect, but my hair is way softer, way easier to go through now. So now going into styling, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Being that it's natural hair, yes, you still gonna have a little resistance. It's what it does. But you shouldn't be going through and having to comb, get all the tangles out and struggling through every step of the process. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions for other videos like this, if you want to see other videos like this, especially detangling ones, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post another upload. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.